Excuse me. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
I know we touched on Batman a little bit in the last episode, but it was funny. Again, the universe heard us. It was like the next day that all of a sudden, all of the solo Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan Batman films were announced to be released on Zavvi in 4K in their, repackaged sort of variety that they like to do, where you're just taking a disc that's out there, putting some new art around it, putting a new steelbook around it, and scraping together a bunch of new pictures and posters and booklets and, whatever it might be. It's very standard Zavvi, product for sure.
Oh, man, give me a break, will you?
Joel Schumacher got answered the call.
He got answered the call. This is going to be a digital code in here.
He got feeged. Joel Schumacher got feeged on this one.
Excuse me?
You're going to get a digital code for Batman and Robin and answer the call in this. They've released single solo editions before around the time that Amazon set came out. I never really liked how any of those looked. Very chintzy box, kind of generic art. And then each one of these movies had its own color scheme. You've got a purple for the second one, a green for the third one, and then full-on purple pink for the Batman and Robin ones. Like each of them have this color scheme. And then Best Buy put out a steelbook collection of that same thing, doing the exact same color scheme. Literally, my steelbooks are those colors. Here, you're getting steelbooks and you're getting all the nice hard packaging and all that stuff. But see this poster that's on the inside? The original art, the shiny yellow gold Batman logo that everyone knows, recognizes, loves, should be everywhere.
Brings me back to the VHS days. Remember
Absolutely.
that VHS?
Absolutely. It brings you back to everything the first feeling you had about this movie was that look.
Yeah.
And it's not even on this box. What is this garbage? Even the steelbook, some silhouette.
What?
My
Schematics.
biggest complaint about it is that DC logo up in the upper
Agreed.
left-hand corner.
Yeah, I think
nothing
that's-
against DC, but that was not a thing in 1989. That was not. If you saw any promotional material for Tim Burton's Batman for the first 15 years of its existence, you never once saw DC attached to it.
No, that's definitely tacked on here.
And
like
I
you
think
said,
what you're saying about this sort of vague packaging with the DC logo on top, they're trying to confuse people as to, hey, Justice League or,
this could be the cartoon. This could be
Oh,
anything.
yes, the cartoon's beloved. I never bought that set. I can't stand Forever or Batman and Robin. I want to own Batman and Batman Returns.
I
but
know.
These sets,
I know.
I'm not feeling it. I'm with you. I'm not feeling it.
Maybe this is the same feeling you have, but I do feel like as a collector, and maybe this is me taking it even one step further than I should even care to, but like as a collector, not only do you want something that looks like this in general, but you don't want it to look like it came off of some like assembly line factory, like no personality. Like when you talk about Second Sight, Vinegar Syndrome, like even Arrow, whoever that we're talking about on these channels, it's companies that are seeking these movies out. They're trying to do something with the disc, the transfer, and really trying to figure out what's the best packaging and materials I can put in here. Zavvi is like, I just need to churn some shit out at $55.
That's what it feels like.
And it sucks.
You can quote me on that.
Of course, I would want an amazing Batman release and an amazing Batman packaging and the poster and all that comes with it, but I will not buy this.
No. I understand the logic behind trying to make this canon in a sense with newer releases to like, hey, if you love the DC universe and you love Marvel and all, you got to own this one too. Yeah. I get the business aspect of it. But what's sad to me is that a film like 89's Batman has so much personality.
Tons.
This wasn't part of the comic book movie machine that we're all used to now. This was different.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
This was a Tim Burton movie. This was Jack Nicholson. Like, why do packaging that is completely devoid of everything that made it special in the first place?
How much personality this movie has and what it was. And, now you've got Ben Affleck's Batman and all these other Batmans that are coming out. Are new people finding this movie at this point? Like, I feel like this movie is now for us and beyond. Like, of course, I'm showing these movies to my family, my son. Like, I want him to be aware of them. He loves 89's Batman. There isn't like a new audience for Michael Keaton's Batman. Like they want Robert Pattinson's Batman. They want, whoever's next. So it's like, we're showing these things at this point. And I'm not showing this shit.
No.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, let us know in the comments. Are younger fans
Are
out
you?
there watching Michael Keaton's Batman?
Are you out there showing your friends and family who haven't seen Michael Keaton's Batman this one? If you're a fan, I mean, are we trying to still keep that alive?
You should be.
You are my #1 guy.
It doesn't look like
No.
Tim Burton's 1989 Batman.
No, and it doesn't look like anything that's worthy of anyone to purchase it. It just looks like, hey, look what we just did. We just kind of got some cards together, made a new box, and if you want to buy this, it's $55. It just looks so cash grabby and gross. Like, I don't know. As soon as I saw this and I looked closer at all of them, the second I saw the announcement, I was like, oh, that's kind of a good idea. And then I looked at them all and I was like, oh, God, this just makes me want to throw up.
Meow.
Now, when you go over to Batman Returns, they're starting to do that thing again where it's like, oh, let's pick up on like a color scheme. It's like, here's that purple look. Like there's a Batman Returns has basically become purple on 4K. So the Best Buy one, I didn't get the Amazon one, but they were all some sort of purple look. Purple silhouette, purple on the cover. Again, this movie has an iconic poster. That same logo with snow like blown over top of it. It's like kind of scratchy looking. When you watch that Batman movie, there's a feeling of snow. There's just a feeling of winter. That logo definitely is iconic in that way too. And what am I looking at here? Another purple thing with Batman, like Batmobile schematics behind it. It's just so cash grabby. Look, 1 review, 1 star. What does this person say? Why wouldn't you use the original symbol from this film's promotional material like you have done with the 1989? Well, they didn't even do that. The Bat logo with the snow drifting across. If you'd done that, it would have been kept in theme with the first movie set you've released. Wasted opportunity. Won't be buying. Couldn't agree more.
Could be worse. My nose could be gushing blood.
I know you love Batman Returns, Russ.
I'm a big fan of Batman Returns. It's a great comedy. I laugh out loud at Batman Returns. It's more of a comedy to me than anything else. I love Batman Returns though because for me, 89's Batman was Tim Burton, but you know, the studio kind of keeping their eye on him. Mm-hmm. It was like, all right, you did Pee-wee, you did Beetlejuice. Here's a bigger property, but he didn't have full cut, final cut, full creative control. Not that he had final cut on this, I'm sure either, but he had, since 89 was the enormous success that it was, he had more leeway with Returns, and it shows.
Yeah.
It shows. I mean, this is a Tim Burton movie. He brought in Mark Waters to do a rewrite because Mark Waters wrote Heathers. Burton was a huge fan of that. So a lot of the humor in Batman Returns is very sarcastic and dark in terms of dialogue, which Heathers was, and I'm a huge fan of that. I just dig the movie. I liked how it was subversive and scarier for the kids going in, which, of course, ultimately led to Tim Burton being let go and then Joel Schumacher being brought in.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like that it again, it has personality, like a different personality.
It is.
A different personality, but still a unique personality, especially for a comic book movie. If you go into a Marvel movie in the past 15 years, you know what you're getting. You're not going to be shocked.
No, it's the same
as far
thing
as
over and over.
tone, as far as tone,
And style,
as far as style,
villains,
as
arcs,
far as
whatever, all that.
yes, it's going to be safe. You know, they're yeah. Batman Returns didn't feel safe. This is a fun, dark, little comedic Tim Burton movie. To me, it's a Tim Burton movie first, then a comic book movie.
Actually, it's a lot like that.
If you look at it that way and you sort of remove it from the rest of it, it can be everything that you just said. I think I think when I watched this recently, I don't know that I had as much fun with it as a Batman movie as the first one, which is just firing on all cylinders and is very entertaining regardless of what's going on. This movie works for me as a Catwoman origin story more than anything else. Like this seems like there's a lot of time spent with Catwoman, her motivations, and she's in the movie a lot. And so is Penguin too. And they're all kind of 3 of these characters sharing the screen. Whereas in the first one, you had Joker eating up the scenery like constantly unless he wasn't there. And then it's sure Bruce Wayne, a little bit of Batman. But this movie, all 3 of these people are fighting for screen time. And I don't know that Batman is even the main focal point.
He's not. Tim Burton wasn't interested in Batman.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it comes across like that.
I just felt like, well, these new characters, Penguin and Catwoman, that they just had
enough different life to make it something else, you know, and it was interesting enough, and with Danny and Michelle and Christopher Walken and all these people and stuff.
Walken was great, too.
He's the greatest.
If you go back to 89's Batman, Jack Nicholson has more screen time than Michael Keaton.
He's also an incredible villain, which you have to have.
Batman has incredible villains.
Yes.
And that's when everybody complains about this in any iteration, not Burton's, in the new one. It's the villains.
Yes.
Bruce Wayne, you can only do so much with on screen. There are very few ways that you can portray brooding. It's the villains that are interesting in Batman movies.
Yeah.
And that's why Tim Burton, in my opinion, wisely spent more time on the Joker, wisely gave Catwoman and Penguin,
Yes.
and even Max Schreck, even
Yeah,
Christopher
Shrek.
Walken, the time that they got. Because if you don't do that, you're just with a essentially one-note character. You're focusing on a brooding guy who dresses up as a bat.
Yeah.
And as great as Michael Keaton is, there's really only one way to play that.
Now you want to get nuts?
Their take on the Penguin was a little too twisted for the modern day audience, which is why a lot of it probably soured for them. Whereas the Joker was like right on the line from being like
It
too
was.
twisted, but yet, oh God, it was so good.
Accessible. Nicholson can dance that line better.
That's good work.
Whereas when DeVito does it, look at It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Right, it's just
when
grotesque.
when DeVito does it, it's grotesque.
Ghastly grotesque.
It gets more into the gross.
It is.
Whereas Nicholson does it,
Yeah.
there's a mischievous sort of twinkle in his eye.
And
When
he's
De-
funny the whole time.
Yeah,
As he's killing everyone, he's
listen,
hilarious.
Listen, DeVito is too, but I know what you're saying. It's like it falls more into that, like, ugh.
Okay, you got a point.
Just the pussy I was looking for. Like kind of like weird shit like that he says.
Gotta admit, I played this stinking city like a heart from hell.
Obviously, the Penguin is a little bit different. I mean, this is such a dark, strange sort of character. How far is too strange? I mean, how do you know when you...
I don't. That was one of my least favorite characters in the comic because it was just a guy in a top hat and all. And, you know, when Danny DeVito got involved, we really wanted to make it something. And we just took the idea of the penguin, and just that word alone, and just conjured up the whole thing.
It definitely outclasses and outmatches Forever and Batman and Robin, even though there's some minor good things to say about those. And this one has a couple of, marks against it, in my opinion, as far as it being a Batman movie. It is a very interesting, well done Tim Burton movie for sure. Like you said, the first one has got some studio written on it a little bit. This one's like passion project Batman, and here's what you get.
You saying that about it being a Catwoman origin story, I never thought about this, but is this the best film adaptation of Catwoman?
Yes, I think so.
Like from beginning to end. And what made me think of this as we were talking, I love the end of this movie where like she's basically alive. It's mysterious. And again, that kind of like what you're saying. This is her origin story.
It is, from how she
Not even-
portrays it. She sounds like a cat. She's sexual. Look, the whole patent leather thing, the whip, like all that stuff, the claws. The only thing, which I mean, I'll chalk up to Tim Burton. I don't know anything about the comics, so I could be dead wrong here, but kind of like how the Joker is created. Catwoman's like a zombie, essentially. She falls out of a window, dies. Some cats like sniff her, and then she wakes up and she's like crazy, kind of, but also normal when she needs to be, but otherwise crazy the other time.
I love the design of her apartment.
Oh, dude, the hello there that becomes hell here when she smashes it. So cool.
It's stuff like that where
So
I'm like,
cool.
there's so much personality in these Tim Burton adaptations. Magic can happen, and in my opinion, it happened with Batman Returns. I know people disagree, but
Yeah, I think people look back on it a little bit more fondly than they did at the time. Again, for $55, like this should be like $39.99.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, what is
Yeah.
this for $55? I don't know. But these are going to be out. These Tim Burton ones are going to be out June 6th.